Okay, when we're looking at a number line and we want to know how far is 7 from 0 and in what direction, we can go find 7. And we always start at 0. And we can see that 7 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units to the right. The opposite of 7 is whatever number is the same number of units but the other direction. So 7 units to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is negative 7. And when we say opposite, we can also use the term additive inverse. An additive inverse means they add to 0 and they're opposites. How far is negative 7 from 0 and in which direction? Since it's the opposite, it should be the same number of units, but the other direction, to the left. Get that written down and flip the page. Thinking back to our previous work, explain how you would use the counting method, that's when we count on the number line, to represent the following. So we're going to pretend we're playing the integer game, and the first card selected is 7, and then the second card selected is 7. So the counting method means we're imagining we're looking at a number line, and we just drew a 7, which means 7 units to the right. And then we drew a negative 7, which means 7 units to the left. And show me on your hands, what would we land at? Write that down. So this tells us the sum, which means what we get when we add. The sum of 7 and its opposite are 0. If they're opposites, they add to 0. That's why we call them additive inverses. Then it says, look at the curved arrows you drew for 7 and negative 7. What relationship exists between these two arrows that would support your claim? So the claim we just made was 7 plus negative 7 is 0. So if we look at the arrows we drew back when we were talking about 7 and negative 7, 7 and negative 7, they're opposite arrows. They go opposite directions, but the same distance. So that's why we started at 0. We go one direction, and then we come back the opposite direction, the same amount, we're going to land in the same place. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you think this will hold true for the sum of any opposite? Any number and its opposite? So if I pick 3 and negative 3, do they sum to 0? If I pick 4 and negative 4, do they sum to 0? If I pick 6 and negative 6, do they sum to 0? Yes. And that's why we call them additive inverses. Because additive means they add to make 0, and inverses means they're opposites. So then the property that it says here, or the thing that's true about math, that's what property means, sorry, is that for every number, there is an opposite number, the negative version, and when you add them together, you get 0. So for 4, there exists negative 4 such that 4 plus negative 4 is 0, and negative 4 plus 4 is 0. Or if you pick another number, 7. For 7, there is a number negative 7 such that 7 plus negative 7 is 0, and negative 7 plus 7 is 0. That's called the existence of additive inverses. And you're going to have a thing on the back wall, a poster, that reminds you what additive inverses is.